Welcome to today's live on Equa Television, and if you've been following us, you know we've been talking about some governmental issues on today's live. We've been talking even societal issues on today's live, and today we've chosen a topic that has been sidelined for a very long time, and we felt the need that we should talk on the topic so that at least we'll have an understanding even after the discussion. This is to remind our viewers that we are live on Facebook. We are also live on YouTube. You can drop in your comments on Facebook and we'll take it live on the show. My name is Joyce Akwari. I have Lois in the studio and Sele, who is also joining.
Morning.
Good morning. Lois, I don't know why when I'm mentioning your name, I would say Lois Sambo all the time. So that's why I always say Lois. Then I stop there before I think and recollect my thoughts. Well, Lois and Stella are joining me today to discuss on a topic which is religious and regional sentiments in Nigeria specifically, but even though we'll look at other countries. So the topic is religious and regional sentiment. And you should know that Nigeria has three major religious identities, talking about Christianity, Islam, and the traditional religion. Ethno-religious sentiments in Nigeria have remained a threat to peace and even security. In Nigeria, among the causes of religious conflict are marginalization, oppression, government influence, uneven distribution of wealth and resources, even nepotism and social religious bigotry. All of these things are more of effects and causes of religious conflict in Nigeria and even the regional sentiment in Nigeria. And going into the discussion proper, I would like to start with a question. And this is important to our viewers, please. We would like to hear your opinion on this matter, because just like I said, it has been kept in the dark for a very long time, and we just want to talk about it. Let's have an understanding. Where are we getting it wrong? Where are we getting it right? What can we do to encourage even our religion, to encourage even education and information on each languages that are found in Nigeria? Because if you ask people, just take a walk, ask someone what are the major languages. He knows Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba, but you'll be surprised that they don't even know some minority languages, and some that have been in existence, they don't even know it. Even some languages that are the majority languages, you know, they are found spoken in other countries, they don't even know about that. Then anybody, some people, when you ask them, especially in the West or even in the South, even they feel everybody this side, that's the northern area, is just a northerner without a language. They call you Hausa and the rest. And I think this is ignorance, you know. And yes, we've studied geography in school, we did government, we did all these history, yes, all these courses or subjects that should at least by now have you know, enlighten us on it. But it's like people are just bent on being ignorant at the end of the day. So this topic, this discussion will help us to understand. So the question I would like to ask before, you know, which will set the ball rolling, is, have you ever been a victim of discrimination based on sentiment or your religion or even your region?
I think I'll say yes, kind of. I felt there was sentiments. I think that was when I was in tertiary institution. And you know, most federal universities, we have this course or subject is called GST. So whether it's related to your subject or not, you have to write that. So I think one of those exams we're writing, and I was actually very cold and I had to wear a jacket because it was a rainy season like this. So we're all supposed to line up. You'll be checked, it's normal, before you write any exams. And we asked that we should take off our sweaters and our jackets and dump them outside, and it was actually raining, you know. And we're trying to explain to, like, it's cold, you can actually check the jackets and the sweaters. I don't feel there's anything wrong with you having those on, but they kick against it that no, everybody should. But then we had people of the other faith that actually had hijab on, covered everywhere, including socks and everything, and they were permitted. And we're like, if we are supposed to take off our sweaters and our jacket, I believe it would be fair. There should be no sentiment of any form. They should also take off those and keep it outside too, since we want to be fair and equal. Everybody, I mean, we
Let
have
your
equal
school
rights.
uniform be seen.
Yes, so there's nothing wrong. You have something inside, I believe, so there should be nothing wrong, but they just like forgot about us, and like it's either you do that or you miss the exam. And we know, in as much as that course was just 1 unit or 2 units, that can keep in the university for the next how many years. And I really felt it wasn't fair, because we're supposed to be treated equally. So I felt discriminated maybe because I was a Christian.
Okay, Lois.
Well, mine was also in the university where we were having this fellowship. I've said it before on this show. And then our dean of study came in and said they were stopping people from having fellowship, because normally on Fridays when they go for their prayers, we can't just be there. We have to occupy ourselves as well. So we had these departmental fellowships, and some had their faculties and all of that. Since it's not like we have places that are created, unlike the people of the other faith, they will create maybe a mosque or small space for them to do their prayers whenever the time is it's that time they have that place carved out to pray. But we didn't have that, so we're using some of our lecture theaters to do all of that. So the dean came and said, in the name of that Jesus you are worshiping, all of you should kneel down and all of that. Oh, this is a high institution, you can't just tell us to kneel down just like that. And he was like, we're stubborn about it, we should write our matric number and all of that. They will take it to the Senate and they will rusticate us from the school and all of that. So it was an issue, and it was taken up to the whole faculty, like the senior lecturers, the professors and all of that. And they said there are mosques everywhere, every faculty has a mosque, and there are just 2 churches in this whole university. And then this is a major university in northern Nigeria, and then there are just 2 churches. Imagine all the Christians in that particular university going to the church premises to all pray. When someone is answering amen there, another person it's not realistic. So why, since they are not, it's not like we are doing something otherwise, allow these people to use the lecture theaters to do whatever they want to do, as long as they are not doing anything. The Constitution of Nigeria gives us the opportunity, gives every Nigerian the opportunity to serve, to have any religion that you want, to do whatever you like. We have that freedom to practice your religion. And so why should you stop these students from worshiping their God? If you're worship, go and worship your God wherever you want to, and leave them to do what they want to do. So at the end of the day, we had the voice that spoke on our behalf, and we were given somewhere to do that. So till I left that school, we had a lecture theater, the big multipurpose hall that was left for us to do without any interference.
Stella, I would like to go back now to what you answered earlier before Lois. You said you felt discriminated, and it was based off from the fact that it was cold, you wore your cardigans, but you were made to remove, and the other faith, had their hijab, but they are allowed. Do you think there were some of the people that wore their cardigans, the other people from the other faith, let's say the Muslims now, do you think there were some of them that didn't wear the hijab, they wore the jacket, and they were asked to pull them, or all of them wore the hijab?
I think all of them, mostly the ladies, had their hijab on, because it was, I think it's a general subject, so everybody, mostly the ladies. So maybe the guys, I won't really know about that, but the ladies, most of them were in their hijabs. And it wasn't just me that complained about that. Like, we were quite a number. I mean, it should be fair.
Now, these instances are very important, and because we are talking religious and regional sentiments, I want people to watch this episode, this program, with an open mind. Because at the end of the day, they want to come to a level of understanding, and we are not being... I wish that we had Muslim... I have a Muslim person on the show. I even have a traditionalist and maybe a free thinker or whatsoever. Someone that can just, you know, at least people watch it with an open mind, with a balanced mindset. But it's just that, yes, all of us are Christians, and some people, no matter how you try to balance it, there's how they will feel about it. But in as much as possible, I want to look at the variation from all these religions, because I mentioned the three basic religions of Nigeria, which is Christianity, Islam, and the traditional religion. Then we have so many languages too. We have different regions in Nigeria. Now, have I ever been a victim of discrimination based on my religion, even region? Yes. And just like Lois said, back in school, we were a victim of that too, where yes, it was a new school, but before the school was before they even finished building the school, there was a proposal for a mosque already by the gate of the school for it to be built, but there was no consideration for a church in the school. And do not forget that we have people in the hostels that are coming from far places, and you know, they stay in the hostel, and what is obtainable is for them to maybe have a worship center in the school where they can go even on Sundays or have fellowship with one another. But there was no consideration of that. We used to use one of the classes, you know, the lecture halls to hold fellowship, and that's mostly the FCS and even evening fellowship. And I remember it was a problem because yes, we were using classes, and there are times that you have to consider that yes, there are people that are having their lectures and you don't have to disturb that. Then even when you are like, okay, after school period, that's when you want to have your worship. That's the time that maybe a lecturer fixed a lecture with a student by 7, by 6, and that's the time for your fellowship, which you have to stop it. And the other faith had their own mosques, you know, by the gates, which was so convenient. And don't forget that aside the one at the gate, there was one at the what is it called? All these refreshment centers. I can't even remember a name that we used to call it. They had one which was closer to the lecture halls. When it's time, they can just rush there. You see that there is no balance in it. Even though when there were talks about, okay, injustice, balance, and fairness, they said, okay, the population of the school, you know, it was let's say it was like a Muslim state. You know, we always capture things like a Muslim state or Christian state. Then the population of the school, most of them are the Muslims, and it was just baseless, and we just let it go. Like, okay, there's nothing we can do about it. Then the second one, which is very important, was my service year in the north. I served in Taraba, and it wasn't even the people of Taraba that were judging or whatsoever. It was even in camp during the 3 weeks orientation that we had people from other states. You know, it's a camp, it's service. It's not just like, okay, I'm from the north, so it's just the northern people that know. You have people from Lagos, people from Port Harcourt, people from the south, east, west, and the north coming together to serve their fatherland. And in the camp, I think that's when I started having, that's the first, will I say my first experience of some level of ignorance that I was even scared for them. Because what happened was when they met, like I started talking with, you know, definitely you communicate, because I think I was even my Miss Platoon. I was in Platoon 5. Then they suggested, okay, I should represent them in the beauty pageant, Miss Platoon 5. Then we had, you know, we had 1 to, is it 1 to 10? You know, yes, it's always 1 to 10. Like I think it's 1 to 10.
It's 1 to 10.
1 to 10. Yeah, 1 to 10.
Yours is 12. Maybe it's not in Nigeria.
No, it's 1 to 10. I remember I was in Platoon 9.
I was a 5, so I was to represent. Then I started getting popular. Then people will come to me, what's your name? I'll be like, my name is yours. Where are you from? I am from this state. And they, Hausa. And I was like, no, I am not Hausa. I am a baggy person from this state, and this is my local government. You are Hausa, all of you are the same. And it was shocking to me for me to, you know, judge someone based on he went to primary school, secondary school, the university. This person is a graduate, and
He doesn't know how to
he doesn't even know his geography.
these
He
things.
doesn't even know how to differentiate which one is Hausa. And you know, it's not like I'm being
Biased.
because I'm here. I'm being biased. No, I think the people from here try their best to even understand or to study people from there. Right now, if you meet someone that is Igbo, there are people that will tell you, no, they are Delta Igbo. You know, no, they are this type of Igbo. No, they are from this. They are from Anambra State. They are from this Enugu State. And we know there are times, you know, we don't generalize and say Igbo, Delta Igbo is Igbo whatsoever. There are variations like that. Or when you meet someone from other states, you know, you try to know, okay, this one is Orobo, this one is, you don't just say Ijo, you don't just say, okay, this person is Igbo. No. So it was shocking to me to be, even when you try to explain to them, they still tell you Hausa, and there's nothing wrong. Like I wasn't pained from them calling me Hausa, but I was pained from them judging me based on my based on me being from the north and seeing as if there's nothing. I'm not well educated. You know, that's how they see us. Like, you're not well educated. You went to school. They allow you to go to school. And I'm like, you know, I'll be like, really? Where are you from? Have you been living in the cave? Like, in the cave, you don't communicate to people. You don't meet any people. You don't, like, there's nobody you've ever met that is from this place. And it's so shocking. Then furthermore, when you start getting familiar, you still talk, they start picking up your accent. You have the Hausa accent, but I don't go about telling you have Igbo accent. I don't go about, what do you expect? I stay in the north. I live with
you also have your Igbo accent. You have your Yoruba accent. So, like,
Hausa is even a major language this side, and you expect me not to. I think that's the beauty of it. If I'm able to, you know, be a bilingual, like speak 2 or more languages, and if I'm speaking one language, you can even pick, you know, an accent from me. If I switch to English, you can even pick an accent. I think that's the beauty of it that should be celebrated. But it was more like insult, more of humiliation. Well, I felt sad about it, but I wasn't sad based on me being sad. I was sad for them because that's ignorance. Then moving to Lagos too, the same thing happened because already I had that orientation. So moving to Lagos, I already understood that no, these people will call me Hausa. So when I meet, I even tell you I'm Hausa before you even telling me I'm Hausa. Except when I see that your level of intelligence is a bit high, then I start to tell you, no, I am from this place. And there are some that will be surprised and be like, yes, they've been learning about that. So there are people from Abuja. There are people from Nasarawa State. So you have a language. You are not Fulani. And you know, it's so funny in a way. Then I think another aspect of the Hausa thing is people from there, people from the west, south, north, west, south, and east. There is how they, when they see I don't want to use the word poor now, like a modest or normal young Hausa man, they call him Abuki. When they see the rich ones, they call them Malam. Not even knowing, even though that one, yes, you can forgive it and let it go. But I think if we understand some things, the basis of some things, there is how we can even avoid, because we are talking of religious conflict, religious crisis. It's the understanding that we don't have, and that's why we fight each other. We're always talking about, when we travel out, we're always talking about racism. We're always talking about the white hating on the blacks. Even in Nigeria, we don't love ourselves. A Nigerian cannot say, yes, I'm a Nigerian, and leave it at that. No. He must go deep to where he's from to show you that he's superior than you. No, I am a Yoruba person. It's as if, okay, being Yoruba is just, you know, there are some things attached to it that makes it superior to an Igbo person. Or being an Igbo person, there are things attached that separate you with an Hausa man. No, we are all Nigerians. If we start celebrating unity in diversity, I think we'll, you know, all this marginalization, oppression, and all of that, you know, will reduce in Nigeria. Then I think another example that I would like to give is, there was a time that I felt will I say rejected, or I felt so sad. I visited a government establishment where I needed to do something. Then I saw that I was there normally dressed like, okay, formal. I was there to do something formal. But the people that were being attended to were the people in hijabs. And I felt so sad, like, you don't even know me. You don't even know where I'm coming from. You don't, but you are attending to someone, and I was here before them, but you're attending them based on, you know, they are wearing some hijab that gave them access to you, to whatsoever favor, you know, before me. Then we've had this one is a general thing. Of recent, we've had a Muslim ticket, you know, example, where you know that yes, there is oppression, where you know that yes, there is marginalization. That's a good example of being marginalized. And so many of these things, if we don't look deep into them, they will cause a lot of havoc in Nigeria.
Yeah, of course. Sorry, okay.
I when you were talking about the experience you had in the camp, the orientation camp, I had same experience, that although I also served in the north, but I don't, just like you said, I don't know how they are being oriented about some of these things down north, because you'll be shocked, and it's somehow funny how they just turn everybody or generalize everybody to be Hausa and all of that. And when you're trying to even explain yourself, they want to,
like,
no,
okay,
just shut up. You're a Hausa, you're a Boki, whatever. But I wish they will get a better understanding and more better orientation about all these things. And then talking about being sentimental, when you go to the market and you meet our brothers in the other faith, you are trying to price this thing. They will say no, they will not sell it. But once they see their brother coming to buy, they will sell it even at the, like, you can't even imagine the price. There was a situation that happened to my sister and I when we were serving in Jigawa State. We wanted to buy, she loves watermelon, and it was quite available in that area, and it was cheap. But when we started pricing this thing, and this man said it was 150 or thereabout, very large one, and we're pleading with him because we know that it's cheap. Please sell it this amount. This one refused, and then all of a sudden one of their brother came and said he sold this 40 naira. 40. I was really angry about it. I was like, it's not by force to even take this thing, let's go. And that's how we left. It's really unfair. Why not? We should be fair to each. If you're selling this thing at 100 naira, then you should sell it the same price to every other person. And not that when your person comes, you will, even if you want to be sentimental about it, let it not be on the person's, don't rub it on the person's face. It's really annoying.
You know, one thing I feel bad is, it's not as if they're ignorant. They have chosen to stay on that path. Like if you try to explain to someone over there that this is from here, I'm not a core northerner, or even in the north we have tribes, we have certain religion, there are things we believe in, there are certain things we do. Just last week Friday, we listened, or it wasn't last week Friday, but I remember we listened to one of the public stakeholders that was talking about minority Christian, minority Muslim. And I was wondering, what is the definition of being in the north and there? So that means definitely this is the orientation you've been given, that as far as I'm in the north, I am a minority Christian. So I do not know where in the Constitution it was written that we have people that are minority or people that are majority Christian. And I think it's just something that deep down here people have refused. I think it's deliberate, and that's why I say we have educated illiterates. Yes, you're educated, but you have chosen not to be exposed to certain things that are happening. We saw it still, like a typical example in Kwara State, where it got to the point that the school was shut down. Why? Because the Christians felt that they were not treated equally. It got to the point of even saying, who are the real biological owners of the school? Is it to the Christian, or is it got to the point that even Khan had to come intervention? And we really need to pass that point of doing things based on whether our regional differences or our religion, because we have seen that over time, this regional and religious sentiment have really stopped growth. It has brought oppression, and at a point in time we're even seeing ourselves as enemies. First and foremost, just like you were saying, we have to come to the point that say, I'm a Nigerian first before any other religion. but we are so, I don't know, religion
Before any
has
other
played,
language.
yeah, but religion has played a very, very vital role in Nigeria, that before you're even in Nigeria, you want to put your religion first before you even know that you're Nigerian. So that means if I'm supposed to do something, I'll look at, okay, Joyce, are you from my site? Are you my tribe? What can we do? Before I even look at the fact that whether you deserve it, whether you're competent to actually carry out that responsibility. And I see that is why Nigeria is not growing. Why? Because we are bent on using that part. And even though I'll say maybe the reason why people from the other side are looking at, or maybe what the white have done to us, because people have come out to say maybe the amalgamation that took place where we're being divided, north, south, east. So that's how people are being categorized, and maybe that is why we need to go deep. Just like you said, if in school you've studied geography, you should know that, okay, these are how things are. Okay, yes, Stella from the north, but she's from this part of the north. And if you're going to give me a work to do, it should be based on my competence. It should be based on what can I offer, not because I'm a Christian or not because I'm a Muslim, but what can I do better to make things better? But if we keep looking at ourselves divided, and that is why Nigeria is where it is now. Just in the paper today, we saw where the president came out and said he's pleading with us to tolerate each other because he's in Rwanda, and he actually saw he was going through, I think, one of the memorial places that was being created for people that were killed back then as a result of, not being tolerant of each other. And he's coming out to say that we need to tolerate each other. If not, we're going to get to that point where we keep killing each other. Why? Because I feel, okay, I'm from this part, this is what I can do, and will not tolerate the religion that we have.
The division, or rather, let's say, the division of north, south, east, and west, it wasn't to divide the country or to separate some things from each other. No, it was for to be able to accommodate. Okay, it's more like, okay, the north, this is your region, and even in the north, there are some subdivision, north, east, north, south, and the rest. It's more like, okay, let's have a head of this that will report to the general head, which is the president. Let's have some heads from. It's more of control. It's more of even distribution of welfare, whatsoever it is, to a small region, or from the local government to the state and even to the federal. Even how will you be able to capture all that? There's a reason behind it. But if we start seeing it like it's a division, yes, it's not even one country, or it's not even one, we are not from one state, you are separate, I am separate, we start having these differences. Back in the days, it's countries and countries that used to fight. We've heard of Iran, Iraq, we've heard of Israel and this country. Yes, we don't see ourselves as brothers and sisters, there's that separation. But now you look at, in Nigeria, we even fight ourselves. The Hausas are fighting the Igbos. The Yorubas are fighting these other people. These people are fighting these other people. Then when you even leave it, the bigger region, you come to the north. Even the north, the northerners are fighting themselves. It's either, okay, you are not from my region, I am from the northeast, you are from this side, let's fight because we are not the same. Even in the same region, let's say the northeast or whatsoever, we fight ourselves because we are not practicing the same religion. You are a Christian, I'm a Muslim, and I have the privilege because we are the majority of the town. And I remember you said something about being minority Christian, minority Muslim, and whatsoever. Who gave those classifications? You wonder. And you are being classified under that because you speak a language. You're a minority Christian because it's believed that, okay, you are not a core Christian, that this is your belief or whatsoever, or you are not a core Muslim because you have a language. And I remember there was a time they called even Tinubu, minority Muslim because he has a language. He's not any Yoruba person, that practices Islam is called a minority Muslim because they believe that is not your core foundation, and you're not supposed, like a Muslim is supposed to. And you'll be wondering, supposed to, that is what is killing us. Supposed to, that's why we don't even see each other as brothers. There was a time I was in Abuja, I think Garki Market. We went to the market, and there was a man that came, he was preaching. The accent was funny, that we had to come out to see who was it. It was an Igbo man, that was preaching in, there was it preaching in Arabic? These they are Muslim. This Friday preaching. He had his loudspeaker. He was going around with the radio, with everything. He was dressed in the Muslim attire, all these kaftan, and he had the turban, you know, but an Igbo man. He was preaching. You could hear that Igbo accent. Then you were wondering what is happening. Then he saw that he attracted attention, and he started saying, yeah, what is there? The Igbo man can practice a different religion and whatsoever. So many other people will judge, so many other people will even care about it and all. But I think that's the beauty of it. If Section 38 of the 1999 Constitution states the freedom of thought, conscience, and religion, then I think that's the foundation, or that's what we should hold there to. A religion shouldn't be, a constitution of a religion shouldn't be accepted by a nation for it to be ruled. Now, these rights to me are supposed to be personalized, and all religions should be practiced sacredly, and the right exercised in our homes, worship centers, religious schools, and not in public schools funded by taxpayers. Why did I say that? Just like I said, we're celebrating unity and diversity, we're celebrating all these things. If our religions are supposed to be sacred, yes, we have the right to thought, conscience, and religion, right? Just because I have right to thought doesn't mean that I should shove down my own ideas into you. Just because I have a right to conscience doesn't mean that I should force someone whatsoever. And because I have the right to religion doesn't mean that I should force you to accept my own religion as your own, or I should force you to accept my own culture as your own. No, let's celebrate our differences. You are from this part of the country. This is what you believe. This is what I believe. How can we see that, okay, I learn your own culture, but it is my own wish now to practice it or not. It shouldn't be forced down to me. But recently we've been having the issues in public schools, like you mentioned, the Kwara school. And again, the Kwara school is a missionary school, is a Christian missionary school where we have other faith, attending the school. And there was a case that, okay, there was a ban of hijab and they should be allowed to wear their hijab. I asked myself first, that, okay, this is a missionary school, their belief, their culture, their policies. But you decided, okay, I want to send my child to that school. You are expected to abide by their rules and their regulation. It's like, okay, me now, my child saying, oh, I want to send my child to an Islamic school. Or that's their Islamic school, that school that they do in the evenings, and the Quranic. I should expect that I will abide by it. If they are reading the Quran, my child should be able to, because I am aware that this is their practices. But I don't expect that, okay, when he's there, then he should be practicing the Christian or trying to force down Christian rules and regulation there. This is my stand, and it's personal to me. I think this is where they got it wrong, in saying, okay, it should be ruled that hijab should be allowed in the missionary school. It is wrong. And if anybody has that conscience, he will know that this is wrong. Because it is not like a general or a public school and things can be allowed. No, is a missionary school. Then of recent, we had the ruling of hijab in Lagos State, where it is said that all public schools should be using hijab. Now, I think of to the female of the Muslim faith. Now, if you look at it, I don't have a problem with people using hijab or not using hijab. But these schools have school uniforms. And I believe that, I know back then, we used to have school uniforms that it was from, like, you have to be proper from your head to your toe. Sometimes when you don't even wear stockings, you are sent home because you've removed one part of the uniform. Or if you decide to wear a black stocking and it's not approved and you are expected to wear a white stocking, you are sent home or you are made to remove it. Or if you don't even tuck in, it used to be proper. But now there's a ruling that hijab should be used in public schools. Then I don't think those are the uniforms anymore. because you're bringing something extra to it and it's accepted. Yes, that's a right to religion, but like what I said, it should be personalized and sacred, not to be forced like what is it called?
Making mandatory.
A rule, make it mandatory that okay, this should be done, because other faiths will rise up now to say no, they practice, they have some cultures in their religion, just like okay, the Catholics now saying the Islamic student or the Muslim student, because we're in the same school, they should be wearing rosaries. Or the white garment church, you know how they dress to church, saying okay, since everything is accepted, let me wear my let me style myself or sew my clothes in the sultana style, that's the white garment with a white cap, then walk barefooted to church, I mean to school. Will that be accepted? I think when we are ruling some things, we should consider if other religion, what if they come up with their own terms? What if they come up with their own cultures or their belief? Will it be acceptable? Then even the religion, the traditionalists, what if they decide, okay, their children should start applying white powders, you know, with tortoise tied on their waist, with charms on their arms and their anklets. Their ankles.
We saw it on the paper this morning. We saw it on the paper this morning where we saw a lawyer said since that was the ruling that the Supreme Court gave, he feels that nobody should derive him, and so he had on his own religious attire, and he said he's going to dress his kids the same way to school.
And he went to the Supreme Court.
And he went to the Supreme Court that even though it was surprising, he was about to be stopped, but he said he has the right. If we have decided to say that everybody is permitted to practice his or her own religion, then he should be permitted because this is what he believes in. But then I don't think that will bring sanity and orderliness if we have to go about things that way. If we have accepted as a nation, Nigeria, okay, this is the way we want to go about things. If we say that this is the attire everybody is supposed to dress, then I think it will only be fair, just like you said, if a particular religion is giving the permission to dress in this manner, then the others should be given. Because I remember the school where I served, yes, those who were practicing Islam were permitted to wear their hijab, but also the Christians were permitted to either tie their hair or wear their beret. And it was a public school, so if you're sending your child to that school, you already made up your mind that okay, this is how this child is going to be dressed to school. So I don't care in whatsoever manner. But when you know that okay, this is not practice, and then you know that it seems as if this other religion is being given treated better than the other, definitely there'll be problem. And I think we really need to come to an understanding. You know, when you were mentioning immediately, I just, you know, reflect back, and it looked funny. It really looked funny. Imagine everybody dressing that way, wearing your
especially the white garments.
You know, it's just funny, like you have said. I think the Constitution overrides whatever religion or whatever it is that you feel you are practicing in this country. We are not a religious state, for God's sake. We have a constitution, and section 38 of the 1996 constitution, as amended, has given the opportunities for every other person to practice whatever religion. And then the same constitution in section 43 grants persons and organizations the right to acquire and own property such as churches, mosques, and schools. So why should the government be meddling in these situations? It's not acceptable. When you have given the room for these things to happen, then allow it to happen, not meddle in issues like this. It's bringing a lot of confusion, a lot of problems and conflicts in the look at it now. Over 10 schools in Kwara State have been closed down, even though they've agreed that they should wear the hijab and all of that. But there are some people now that are not even going to school because, okay, for instance, now your child is attending that school that you have made to shut down because of the hijab issue. Well, that means you have to change the school, the child's school, to another place. Is that what we want as a country? Is that what we want as Nigerians? We are supposed to accommodate each other regardless of your ethnicity, your religion, or whatever it is. Look at this man now, this lawyer now that came out like that. What would the international community say about this? Like, we are just going backwards every other day. Instead of us to move forward, things should change. We're moving backwards and so many chaotic things that are even uncalled for are coming up every day. And then you keep wondering what is happening, what is actually happening. And at the end of the day, you see the government, like, they are supporting one side and
leaving out the
giving
other.
more relevance to the other side, which is not good. As a
And
country, it's not.
this ruling of hijab, I know the hijab is a sacred costume to the Muslim faith. I am not against the hijab, and it's a symbol of decency to them. And if you look at it, most of them wear it everywhere they go, which is acceptable, nothing wrong with it. But just like I said, if you know this is a missionary school, you should know that, okay, when you get there, these things will not be accepted because they do not practice the same faith with you. Just like a Christian child, going to the Muslim school, he should know that definitely he will
Even
be asked
within
to
the
wear
Christian school,
the
we have
hijab.
others faith, just like, for example, now, if this is the faith I believe, like as a Christian, we have different denominations. If you're sending your child to a Catholic school, just like you stated,
Yes.
definitely the Catholic school
read the
will give you
rosary.
rules. We'll go and baptize that child again. You'll be wearing rosary. You'll be going for, you already made up your mind. So I think we have to be fair.
Then, okay, I think I skipped what I was about to say, but in line with I was to wearing hijab and sending a child to a Muslim school, what is expected. Now, if we're saying there is a school where it was funded by the public funds, because it's a government school, it's funded by the public funds, you should know that the public, there are people that are Christians, there are people that are Muslim, there are people that are traditionalists, and you should be able to accommodate, and things should be strict with it. Yes, the Muslims wear their hijab. That's the Muslim girls wear their hijab everywhere they go. But the Christians, don't forget, there are some churches that don't even allow wearing of trousers. But you will see that maybe the public schools, that's their uniform. They are supposed to wear trouser and a shirt, But because, okay, you want to send your child to that school, you compromise and the child start wearing trousers. Even though there are some parents that will still take their female children to the school that they wear skirts. That's balance and compromise. If you feel okay, you can accommodate this, fine, you can send your child to it. But if you feel no, you cannot, I think that should be proper. But if it is a public school, they should be it should be strict. Let it be able to accommodate every other person. If you are saying if one thing is good for you, it should be good for Lois, it should be good for me too, because of our faith, because of our religions, and that's religious tolerance. You do not care, okay, if this person is from here, if this person is from there. No, he has a freedom, for his religion. He has his freedom for his thoughts, just like I said in the Nigerian Constitution of Section 38. And I think I wrote something here which I want to read. It says the Supreme Court decision allowing female students to wear hijab is a violation of Section 10 of the Nigerian Constitution, which provides from the secularity of Nigeria by prohibiting the government of a federation or state from adopting any religion as state religion. What does this mean? It means that if we have a constitution, right, and there are so many things that are involved in it, there's a constitution which is secular. It doesn't care about Christianity, Islam or traditional whatsoever, but it accommodates this religion, and that's why it gives the freedom for you to practice this religion. But if the federal government or the judicial system decided, okay, let me pick this religion to override this constitution, is wrong, because already Nigeria, let's say Nigeria is a secular state, or the constitution is a secular constitution, that every other thing should be adopted. But when you adopt a religion to it, that means you are practicing the constitution of that religion. And just like I said, imagine students, from the children from the Catholic school wearing rosaries to school. I remember there was a time that they used to see rosaries from my school, and yes, I know that was a private school, so they couldn't accommodate all of these things. Then don't forget that these public schools are established by government with public funds, and by virtue of Section 10 of the Nigerian Constitution, that's the 1999 Nigerian Constitution, the constitution is secular, or Nigeria is secular. Now let's look at how we can be able to come to a level of understanding. What can we do as a people of different religion, different culture, different region? what can we do, you know, first, before we say the government, what can we do to be able to accommodate ourselves? What can we do to be able to, okay, let's love each other? What can we do to be able to, okay, do you know what? I shouldn't force my religion on this person, because that is why we are suffering. That's why we have the Boko Haram. That's why we look at it very well. That's why we have that, and that's why we have even the notion of Islamizing, you know, some states or even Nigeria. I call it the notion because there are so many theories attached to it. And don't forget that back then, when they stop you, when there are crises, you know, in a state or in Jos or Plateau State, when they stop you, they ask you first, what is your religion? If you're of the other faith, they kill you. If you're of this faith, why do we have to kill each other? Why can't we accommodate? But when we go to other countries, we shout racism. Black lives matter. What about Nigeria? A Nigerian life doesn't matter. A Christian life doesn't matter. A Muslim life doesn't matter. Then another one is, I'm sorry to mention this, but it's very important because people have always seen it as a regional sentiment, where we have the issue of Boko Haram, Fulani headsmen and all, but the president of Federal Republic of Nigeria will just be hammering on the IPOP, you know, sect, forgetting that, okay, we've been dealing with the bandits, we've been dealing with the Fulani headsmen, you know, that even destroy your farm for their cattle to graze on it, and you have so much energy to just focus on the IPOP. Even if you want to focus on that, it should be balanced. How can we come to an agreement?
I feel the first thing is enlightenment. Like, we need to know about each other's religion. We need to know about the ethnic groups and the different languages that we have in this country. We have over 520 something languages. And I don't know what like we've said earlier, I don't know how they do their social studies, their government, and all those things in the other part of the country. If only these things will be taught well in this, I feel the things that you're even supposed to imbibe in these students are even more what we are supposed to be hammering on, not talking about
virtues, morals, values.
All these things, not even talking about hijab or whatever students are supposed to wear to school. We need the uniform for everybody to look uniform, like it is, like be proper. That's the idea of the uniform in the first place, for you to be proper. I know there are different different careers that have their different dresses they wear. That's why when this man wore this thing and went to the Supreme Court, it was everybody was surprised and shocked about it. Remember the issue of Hafsa that came up during the call to bar, and she was wearing, it's not part of the dressing and see, or it's not part of the dressing. So why do you want to go and cause conflict and chaos in a particular place when you know that this is not it?
It's the same thing with the NYC camp, where you get there, you're giving your full dressing, you know, your full costume, from your head dressing to your crested t-shirt to even the jacket to whatsoever. When you dress without your cap, you should know you are not completely dressed. When you dress without your boots, you should know you are not completely dressed. Or the days that you're supposed to appear fully dressed, when you're not dressed, you are sent back to go and wear it. So I understand what Lois is saying. Please go ahead.
So you went there and did all this, and at the end of the day, we saw that the Supreme Court ruled to her favor, and the following year she was able to do her khutbah with that hijab, and it caused a lot of issues. And today we have seen that it did not even end there. It's causing a lot of issues, because when they go, they still refer back to that particular,
because that's a judgment from Supreme Court that is applicable now to every
other person. So we have to look at these issues. How should we come about them when we understand that this country is a secular country, and then every other person, you need to accommodate these religions, these tribes, this ethnicity. I think we'll go a long way, because these are not even the things that we're supposed to be clamoring about in this country. We have far more grievous issues on our plate already. Is it hijab that is our problem? And it's not like we're backlashing all of that, but we are looking for where there should be balance in the country, that we will come out, and when you see your fellow brother, even if it's not of the same faith with you, you'll be able to go out and help that person, and not the other way around. When crisis is coming, they will say, are you a Christian? Or they will say, recite some parts of the Quran. If you can't, they will just kill you. Or if you cannot say our Father, they will will kill you. That's not what humanity is more than that. So when we understand that part of this life, I think it will be better for us. But if not, we'll still keep going to worse situations more than the issue of hijab.
I think another thing we will learn is respect. I think we don't have respect rather for each other. We don't have respect for each other's religion, and that is why we are where we are today. Because if I should respect Joyce, I respect you for who you are before even going further to know what religion do you belong to. And just like Lois rightly stated, I think we need to go back to learning all these civil studies and social studies and knowing some of the basic things that you need to know as a Nigerian first and foremost, because I need to respect who you are. I mean, if there was respect, we would not have the issue of Deborah. If there was respect, we would not have the issue of what was the Anambra issue there that we have. Because we don't respect human lives. If you respect a life of someone, then you will not even go further and say, okay, because she's like this, because this is the faith she believes in. Because if you're going to look at it without having any bias, you see, if she had belonged to the other faith, will this have been the judgment that will have be passed to her? Would have actually listened to her, would have been fair, would have understood, okay, I need to be tolerant of her. We made mistake, even if we belong to to the same religion. So regardless of who you are, I will give you the opportunity to be able to write off your wrong, even when you say something that is wrong. So I think we need to go back to the table. We need to go back to the grassroots, respect each other, and also know that every life matters. I think when we start from that places and even going down to even our various places of worship, we need to do more to let people know that respect each other regardless of whatever religion, your brother or your sister. We need to learn to be tolerant of each other.
And I would like to say we should encourage religious harmony too. Yes, we know that we practice different religions in Nigeria. We are from different regions. We are from different states. There are states that when you go to now, there is how they practice, or there are things that they do. Go to Calabar now. They eat dogs. Even in Plateau State, okay, let me use Plateau State even instead of crossing over. We have some tribes, that feed on dogs, that feed on some animals and all. To some, that would be a culture shock. But before you know, they will accept it and celebrate that. Instead of judging, instead of whatsoever, looking at it as, okay, you should die because these are the things you eat, or you are not supposed to be a human being because of that. Go to other states, see how they do things. Practice or be aware of like I said, the culture shock when you are first exposed to it. Be aware of it. If you cannot accommodate that, or if you cannot tolerate that, leave. It's just simple. That's practicing religious or regional harmony. Stay with one another, love someone regardless of, and that's you preaching peace. That's you even preaching love. Then another thing is, we should disconnect any arm of government from sentiment and religion. This is very important. When you have, you set up a structure, which is a government structure, which is supposed to be an establishment for everyone. A government structure is an establishment for everyone. But when you start talking tribalism, religious sentiments, and even nepotism, where you try to bring, these people are from my place, or let it be dominated by the Christians, or let it be dominated by the Muslims. The other religion would not even have a say in that particular place. That's the time you see structures like churches. That's the time you see structures like mosques, raising up even in the government establishment that is not supposed to be so. If there's a structure already like a mosque, there should be a structure like a church, because we have people of different faith, working in that particular place, and it should be able to accommodate their faith. It should be able to accommodate their religion. One religion should not suffer and leave the other one. Since we want to be religious, in the country, let's celebrate. Let's have a level ground for everybody to know that, yes, I am practicing my religion, and it's a freedom, and it should be sacred to me. Then I said, religion should be practiced sacredly, not as a judicial injunction. This is my faith. This is how I want to practice it. I should not bring it even to the judicial system, should not even have influence in it. Just like I said in my opening, that we have this crisis because of government influence, judicial influence in it. Like you said, they have better things to think about. But when you start bringing it as a judicial injunction, other people will start bringing their faith to as an injunction. Christians will start saying, okay, I want to practice my religion everywhere I go because it's a Christian injunction.